So one thing which I hadn't yet decided what to do with was the goodie bag that Rapido always includes with its equipment. The goodie bag has, in this case for the RDC, has a number of elements, including extension smokestacks. It has diaphragms for the front. It's got grills for the driver's side windows, extra windshield wipers, and a Jira light to go on the front door. Now, my problem became what was I going to do with this? In my haste to buy the RDC, because I was afraid they were going to start running out of stock and the price was going to go up. I had bought number 6109 because that was the one that was available in the store that I'd bought it. Unfortunately, when I went to do the investigation of exactly how 6109 should be set out, or with the proper extra equipment, I discovered that 6109 had worked the Ontario routes for a large part of its career from Havelock to Toronto, and then later in its career in the Montreal-Windsor corridor. I may have even written on it at one point, given that I spent a lot of time writing in that corridor and on RDCs. So then the question was, what would I do? What should I do for an RDC which is supposed to be operating in southern Alberta? There were two options. One was to change the numbering. There was a numbers decals were provided for RDCs that had worked in the Edmonton, Calgary, or south of Calgary routes, but that gave me a problem, which I'll show when the next time it comes around. That there's a number on the side of the RDC, and that would have been more complicated. So I decided to invent the fantasy that 6109, instead of being sold to Cuba at the end of its life, had been sent out to Alberta ahead of time and outfitted for Alberta activity. Now, for Alberta, it might not have needed the diaphragms that it had. And the next, in the middle here, we'll show a photo of 6109 in the Spadina Yards on a wintry day late in its career, and you'll see that it has notched diaphragms. You'll also see that for whatever reason, the horns were on this unit were mounted on the wrong side because the escape hatch, or the hatch, the ladder to the roof is not on the same end as it is on this model. It's a fairly minor consideration given the other liberties with reality that I'm taking with this unit. As the Rapido documentation says, and as I was able to confirm with other pictures, which I'll show now, the units in Alberta did not need diaphragms because they were not often run in consists. They were run as individual trains. But some did, and certainly this one, coming from Ontario, where the RDCs were frequently run in consist, would have come with diaphragms. But I added the Sinclair antenna, which is clearly visible in the 6109 picture, and then I added grills in the front window, which I'll show a photo of, and the Jira light, which although it was never on the 6109 as far as I can tell, it was on most of the Alberta units, probably for the reason that Rapido points out in its catalog, that there was a lot of problems with level crossings in Alberta, and so they needed to have all the warning they could give to people who were driving up to the level crossings. So I'll show off a couple of photos of what my completed 6109 looks like, trucked out as if it had been moved to Alberta sometime late in its career, after the diaphragms had been installed for running in consist in Ontario, but with the modifications required to deal with the unique situation in Alberta for an RDC. So that's the end of the RDC-1 story. Fairly successful, I think. I like the decisions that I made to adapt 6109 to the Southern Alberta milieu. Not prototype, no, but this is not prototype by any stretch of the imagination, so I can take liberties, but I think the liberties I took are at least realistic. Anyway, that's all for this one. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye.